Alright, so this is a typical Forsaken fight where they started clumped up in one corner. You're here. We have some beasts from the village event, but they shouldn't change the fight much. I think one of the most important things against Forsaken is having Stalwart, and every one of my units is Stalwart or Stalwart absorbed. So here's Stalwart, here's it absorbed, here's Stalwart, here's Stalwart. So all of my 6 units are immune to being grabbed, which is very important against the X-Men. You can play around being grabbed, but it's very hard. You have to be very on point, and even if you can play around it, that most of the time it means you don't get into a perfect position, but you assume a weaker position, which is not what you want to do. And also you have to be very good. Very, very good. And I frequently mess up. So uh, I just think it's very mandatory to have Stalwart against them. If you get grabbed once out of position, then you probably die for it. Um, there is the option to only have like 3 Stalwart or something on your front line and then play around that. But even then, it's very difficult to do so. So I think having Stalwart is the first step in countering Forsaken. Uh, their most prominent feature is Lightfoot swapping. So they focus fire you and then they swap their backline in to also hit you. Combined with their forward movement, it's very difficult to deal with if you don't know what you're doing. Um, when we look at the field, the most um, dangerous units are those 2 berserkers here. He hits for 450 and he hits twice, so he has 900 damage behind him. More if he gets Forsaken Wrath stacks, and even more because we retaliate after the first strike, so he gets flagrant hits. So he has probably 1000 damage straight up, and he has more than 1000 damage if he gets any Forsaken Wrath stacks. He's a bit on the lower end, he rolled low damage, but he's still dangerous, so we have to keep an eye out for those two. Generally, you want to be on the lookout for elite berserkers, they're very dangerous. And the second one are elite axemen, they still hit pretty hard. And then everything else that's elite, it's not a big deal. This thing here means they have the revenge trait, so when we kill him, a new Forsaken spawns at the edge of the map, like somewhere here or something, or down here. And he will be taunted for 5 turns onto the guy who killed him as kind of a revenge. Uh, he also has this. No. He has a banner. Okay, no. If they don't have revenge, they have a strong versus. He is strong versus polearms, and he is strong versus bludgeon. If you cannot really see it, you can also mouse over and see he is strong versus bludgeon here. The other ones are not very hard to deal with, like defender, shield bearer, and there's no sniper on the field, huh? Interesting. And snipers are not that hard to deal with. Like snipers or ranged units, the usual range stuff applies. So let's do it. This is a trader ambush mission. So we have like this trader guy we have to protect. We kind of have to keep an eye out for those guys behind us. But I think our NPC friends can deal with that, mostly. I hope I can show off what I want to show off here. This is the best Forsaken fight I could find before I go to map 3, so let's hope it's good enough. So here, this is a good example. Going here might seem very harmless. Like, I could swap here and go here and hit him, right? First of all, I cannot hit him because he has preemptive strike and then I'm out of movement and sit here. Which happens to me very frequently. But second of all, I move in range of not only him, but also those two who swap in with Lightfoot. those two swap in with Lightfoot, and also this guy who can go, swap, go, swap, hit. So I move in range of 6 units. So by standing here, he gets 6 attacks, one from the Elite Berserker, who takes half his health probably in one attack. So by going here, he at least procs Angels or maybe even dies. So that's not a good idea. What we can do is go here, throw a trap here. Go here probably. I think we can grab around this. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Maybe I should have put a trap here instead. We will see in a second. So the grab is a very good method of separating them, of pulling one way in front so the other ones cannot reach and cannot Lightfoot swap on you. Here's 4. He can stay here. If he tries to go in, we have Preemptive Strike and deny his last movement. That's fine. I think we cannot fuck, yeah. I should have put the trap here. That was my bad. But the grab is a very good method to separate them, as I said. And I forgot about Lightfoot, about Preemptive Strike again. Also, they kind of separate themselves here on this map, which is unfortunate, because it's not really what I wanted. Maybe we can group them up again. So the first thing you want to do against Forsaken is let the Stalwart. The second thing you want to do is separate them like this. So you're in no danger of getting swapped on like multiple times. And also so they don't get Forsaken stacks. They're pretty weak manually, not manually, solo. Every single one of them is pretty weak except the Berserker. But in a group is where they get dangerous. And then you want to have CC, hard lockdown. It doesn't have to be hard. Can also be engaging strike. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, here. Just thinking about this turn really quick. Let them move in. He goes after him, right? He has 900. He has a ranged unit. He also has the lowest HP, so he will go after him. He will go after him. So he goes here, 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 hit, and then he goes here, here, swap, hit, and he dies. That's fine. They will likely stand here. Maybe here. I don't know which one they prefer. I think I want to be in range of either. So I want to be in range to go here and grab him into this pit if he stands here. I also want to be in range of like here or here if he decides to go over here so I can grab him over. This is the reason for positioning here. He chooses this one. Yeah, that's what I thought at the beginning. And he dies. That's fine. This is what happens quite a lot in fights right now, where they just swap all the time and don't really get to move forward. I think that's not how it's supposed to work, and eventually it will get fixed, but for now, this is the way it is. Bonked. We want to get away from this 4 cluster, because they are interchangeable. You always have to keep in mind that choke points don't work in your favor anymore. Whereas against other factions, you can use choke points very well, especially if you have like a setup with a shield guardian or shield bearer or whatever, where you shield the unit in front, then choke points work really well in your favor, right? But those 4 units can all hit me. They can swap all around. Even he can go 4 swap hit me. So again, being here means getting hit by 5 units. You have to look at those fights very differently than other factions. You have to recognize that sending here is probably death. Whereas going here, pretty solid. I can do this. This is very dangerous, giving the Berserker more one-shot potential by... This is the revenge mechanic. So we killed one with revenge. A new unit spawned. Usually it's a sniper, sometimes it's something else. And he's taunted to pistol by 5 turns. Pistol is the Blood Knight. So he's taunted onto the killer for 5 turns. It's very dangerous to give him that much bonus damage. He has 700 damage right now. But I already know that he will go over and grab him into the pit. So I'm very confident doing this. I don't even hit him. I just get him more into position. Go swap, 2, 3, 4, grab, and he's dead. So he is immobilized here. This is hard CC. Well, no, not particularly hard CC. Hard CC would be a stun, right? But this is like movement CC, which is very strong against them. Bear traps, the one he stepped into, is a prime example of that. So normally, by stepping here, I would open myself up to all those attacks. But because he is immobilized, I could step here, and nobody would be able to swap with him just because he is immobilized. The only problem is this Berserker who can go over and hit me. This is the only reason I don't go here. But bear traps are king against them. If you have a hunter, abuse them all the time, every day. Go here, grab him. Can go here, can go here, can go help deal with them. I think they're fine. Like, they're stalling pretty well. I don't need them to defeat them, I just need them to stall until Forsaken are gone. I think I want to go after the Berserker here, or after him. I could just Blood Strength on him. Blood Strength is very strong, as usual. Just one-shot him. If you have cooldowns, they're not really cooldowns, but if you have additional resources in terms of focus, like Blood Strength, you want to spend them on the elite Berserkers and get them off the field. I think now it's fine to go here. Yeah. This is my CC, so this is what I mean. Usually, now there are no units here, but imagine there are more units. Usually it's a very bad idea to go here, but he has immobilizing crits. So until he takes his turn, which is unfortunately in 3 again, but until he goes, he is immobilized here, which means the swapping is prevented. This is what you really need. Either immobilizing crits, stuns, engaging strike also works. You don't need to actually prevent him from moving, it does not matter. You don't need the stamina to prevent him, you just need to apply the debuff, and as long as you have the engaging strike debuff, you cannot swap with people. So stuff like Footman or Reaper is very good for that. You can also just throw an engaging strike, a mutator on someone, anyone really, and he becomes a kind of a CC machine against them. Not by really disabling their turns or anything, but by disabling their Lightfoot swap, which is the most dangerous thing about them. Unfortunately, he goes on 3 again, so it didn't really matter here, but you get the idea. Also, I should have jumped here instead of forgetting about preemptive strike like usual. Alright, when does he go again? We need to kill him before he goes, so he has some bonus damage, and he has backstabs on us right now. So we actually need to kill him. Here does not really go. I think we just go here and kill him. It's probably our best bet. Whenever you can split up the fight like this is a natural split because of the map, but whenever you can split them up, you should split them up. It's just very beneficial to you. I think he can handle this. He's in range of a couple of them, but it's fine. Your allies are a weak point in those fights, most of the time. They give them a lot of Forsaken Wrath. And they die all the time like usual. But also they mess up formations, right? And formations are very important against Forsaken. This should be very easy cleanup. Always remember that against defenders, you have to trigger the preemptive strike first, and then charge after. I always forget that. So I just say that so other people remember. You just one-shot him because he's strong versus polearms and armor. Gets 100% bonus damage against them. Hey, he did something useful. How nice of him. Again, they are all focusing on him. So I just try to disrupt them as much as possible and try to get him up here. Away from everyone. You cannot give them Forsaken Wrath. You can also notice up there, which will show in a second. Here, I also separated them, so the one does not heal the other and give them bonus damage. It's also a very good habit to have against them. Same principle. Since he's an elite, I spend 1 blood strength and I should shot him. He eats the defenders for breakfast. Again, very good. Him being immobilized here, it does not really matter right now because the fight is kind of over. But this is what you want exactly. Having choke points, having only one here, but then having the frontmost units CC'd. If you can slow them down like this, it's even better because I almost killed them. Because he's CC'd for longer, so you have more time where the backline of them cannot do anything, and you can like fight the other side or something, or you can just stall for longer. Usually stalling benefits you. I find it also kind of funny that the Lightfoot swapping is something the player did for a long time. At least I did it for a long time already. And yeah, this is what I mean, the allies mess with you. So this was my blocker for those two. And he just killed him. They're super trolly. I think I wanna just go up north. Just to kill the other guy. And he's like a beast, right? This is the guy we have to protect, so we have to be kind of careful. Get his crit back. Stun down. I should have jumped there to preserve my Aegis, but I'm a dum-dum. Alright. Oh, I'm not sure why I passed turn with him. That was not very smart. X-Men also very strong against armor. Right. Just by killing him, we gave him 100 bonus damage, which might not seem like much, but just imagine they would be standing in a cluster, and there's not one next to him, but like 3 next to him, right? Like he's standing here and there are 3 people behind him, so we just gave out 300 extra damage, just for not separating him. That's actually quite a big deal. Boom. There's also something you don't always think about. Like you have a rough idea about how much damage they do, and suddenly that doesn't match anymore. So yeah, pretty easy fight in the end, mainly because of the map. The map helped us a lot, even with the beasts in the back. So against Forsaken, basically have Stalwart. You need Stalwart. You don't need to absorb Stalwart, but just swap it in. Just have 6 Stalwart laying around in the inventory and just swap them against them. It's usually a good idea to have Stalwart anyways, in case you need it. Like you see a fight and you need it. Then separate them as much as possible. If you can kill them without anyone nearby, that's a big plus. And then stay away from choke points unless you can CC the first unit without it being killed by allies. Then you can stay in choke points very comfortably. But you have to realize that eventually this unit will go. Like the unit you CC will take his turn and the CC will wear off. And then the other units behind them can come in. So it's a very delicate balance. And you have to keep the turn order in mind if you do that. But don't rush forward. Always respect their 4 movement plus swap. And always look at all the units behind them. Everyone in range can hit you. No matter if someone blocks them or not, everyone in range can hit you. And just ask yourself, if I move there, how many units can hit me? And if it's 5, you probably die. So don't do that. That's about it. Hey, there we go. Hey, what's up, Nick, for us? How you doing? It's been a while. Taunt too? Yeah, I forgot about Taunt. Taunt is good too.